Ron Siegel Radio, your home and mortgage connection.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
As we discuss current events, financial markets, politics, sports, even poking fun at the rest of the media, this is the show that connects the dots of confusion delivered by conflicting media reports. We connect the dots so you know the actions you can take, how your family or business can benefit in current events. Most of all, thank you for joining me. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day. We have a very focused show. We only chat about items that affect the roof over your head, your bank account, and anything I feel would benefit you. And let me remind you, if you ever have any home or finance-related questions, I am the consumer advocate looking out for you. And you can reach out to me directly, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com. Just remember, that's the number you call anytime for assistance. When you call that number, it comes directly to me first. There are operators standing by.
Quiet, numbskulls, I'm broadcasting.
While I do have a great team when it comes to developing a financing plan to save you money, I personally work with you, even if you don't have any needs today. Save this number in your phone for future reference, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. And yes, of course, we are celebrating today. We celebrate every day on Ron Siegel Radio. It is Rural Health Day. Where did that come from? Now, I'm sure glad that Josh didn't put this one in our rundown today. National Absurdity Day. There's a lot of people that say that there's a lot of absurdity coming from this studio on a regular basis. But we're going to go with the one that has the most to do with me beating anorexia. Today's National Peanut Butter Fudge Day. And yes, I do like peanut butter fudge. So we're celebrating that one today. Peanut Butter Fudge Day. Where do you get do you like fudge? Question of the day. Do you like fudge? And what is is peanut butter fudge in or just plain old chocolate? And then you got chocolate with nuts. What direction are you? Sometimes you feel like a nut. Sometimes you don't. I like peanut butter a lot. But I like chocolate fudge with nuts. That's probably the direction I would go. You a fudge guy, Josh? Okay, he's the fudge guy as well. Peanut butter all the way. Okay. Homemade, yeah. Can never go wrong with homemade fudge. Now, when it comes to homemade fudge, it's like whatever's put in front of me is my favorite of the day. Now I'll go just about any direction there. But I digress. Let's take a look and see what's going on in the markets today. It's only if you're listening to us live as we were broadcast. It's 9:06 in the morning Pacific time. And I know that if you're listening to us on ABC News and Talk, AM 1490, FM 98.1, you are listening to us in the evening. But as of this hour, talk about a wild ride on the markets today. So we saw the NASDAQ up at one point over 500 points. It's down 150 points. We saw the Dow Jones Industrial Average up over 500 points. It's now down 114 points. The S&P 500 is down 27.76. Oil's down 51 cents a barrel. Well, it was all had to do with commentary. For the market was up this morning. So we got early morning. We got jobless claims. We'll talk about that in the Mortgage Minute in just a second. But then we got the earnings report after the close of the market yesterday on NVIDIA. And once again, they beat the market expectations, which is a good thing that shows that they're managing their business well and they are growing. Yahoo! So glad to see that from NVIDIA because NVIDIA is largest market cap there is in the world right now. So them doing well is good. But we got commentary from some of the Federal Reserve members this morning. And as you know, my feeling about most of the Federal Reserve members.
Such an idiot.
Yeah, exactly.
Such an idiot.
Dumb. you look at them and you wonder, what are they looking at? And Beth Hammock this morning came out and said that, the big problem right now is inflation. Well, I get it that inflation is still sticky, but the Federal Reserve in San Francisco came out with a report that one of the big cries that was coming out from around the country was that tariffs were going to be inflationary. So the San Francisco Fed does a report going back 150 years, and they find out that actually it's not inflationary, it's deflationary. Tariffs are deflationary, according to the report from the San Francisco Fed white paper that they just released earlier this month. So much for that thought. Now, when you got the jobs report that came out this morning, that jobs report actually said that wage growth is outpacing inflation. So yes, we did get major league inflation into the last administration. It was up to 9.2% at one point. But we've still got a little bit of inflation there, but we don't have deflation. Prices are not going down. And a lot of people think that just because the inflation seems to be under control now, that the prices are going to drop. No, they're just not going to rise as quickly as they did before. And you get people like Beth Hammock, who's not a voting member at the Federal Reserve this year, but will be next year, coming out and saying that inflation is the problem and she's not worried about the jobs numbers. Well, the jobs numbers, yes, we did get a good jobs report for October, and that was supposed to come out at the beginning of October. It's the September numbers, and something I'm going to tell you, and I want to work it out in just a little bit, that it's flawed. It's skewed. Do you remember when President Trump first took office and he offered buyouts to a lot of federal workers? Well, those workers got a 6-month severance package in many cases, not all, but they got a long severance package. Guess when that severance package ended? Yeah, September. So, you see some numbers that are challenging right there. And we also see that we got more joblessness showing up in September, in the September numbers. We did see some revisions once again, which we always see revisions. They never get these numbers right. It's just crazy how bad the numbers are on a regular basis. But I am going to show that to you in just a minute. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we're going to do a workshop for you. We're going to talk about strategic refinances. That's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about most experts are not worried about a recession. All that and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or RonSiegelRadio.com, Facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Are you a veteran, own a home, and need money? The Siegel Lending Team is here to help veterans refinance and get the money they need. The VA 100 lets you borrow up to 100% of your home's value, refinance your mortgages, consolidate credit cards, and lower your payments by an average of $700 a month. And the Siegel Lending Team knows that character means more than a credit score. Call 800-306-1990. That's 800-306-1990. Rate subject to change without notice. Licensed by the California Department of Corporations, NMLS 21037, and DRE number 018694452. You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. The Mortgage Minute today being brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. And every day at this time, OBMMI, they provide the most comprehensive, accurate, timely, and interactive analysis of pricing ever conducted in the mortgage industry, calculated from actual locked rates with consumers across 35% of all mortgage transactions nationwide. They do not tell us points paid, points received, or the APR. They tell us the number you put in your mortgage calculator to determine your principal and interest payment. Now, what did rates do yesterday? Let's take a look at them. Conventional 30-year fixed, 6.244, that was up. Jumbo 30-year fixed, 6.434, that was down. FHA 30-year fixed, 6.102, that was down. VA 30-year fixed, 5.853, that was down. USDA 30-year fixed, 6.079, that was down. So looked like a good day yesterday, but the bond market wasn't quite as happy with that as those locks. Apparently people locked early in the day, which is a good thing. Now, if you want our market commentary, well, it's in the Ron Siegel Radio community, rsrlinks.com/HBOD, rsrlinks.com/HBOD. You can get our market commentary. We put that in there as early as we can each business day morning. And yes, it has been posted already for today. But let's see what the markets are doing today. So we've got the S&P 500 is now down 25.27. We've got the 10-year Treasury, that's down 5 basis points, 4.089, which would normally make us think that mortgage rates are going down. Yes, the bond is up 25 basis points, which means that's the 5.0 mortgage coupon. So if that one's up 25 basis points, which tells us interest rates are dropping a little bit, and we like that. Now, what's driving all of this? Well, so yesterday afternoon, we saw the market go south on us from a standpoint of the bond market, which means rates went up. That had to do with the Fed minutes from October 29th meeting. They were released. Overall, the tone was more hawkish. Most Fed members felt the policy was still restrictive and the Fed needed to cut more to get to neutral, but timing was the issue. Unbelievable. They want to wait until we get into a recession before they do that. There was a heavy debate on a December 10th cut, and as of October 29th, when these minutes, where the minutes are from, the majority were not in favor of cutting, highlighting inflation and concerns, several in favor on focusing on the weakness in the labor market. So today's jobs report was mixed with some weak points for sure, but between the minutes and the BLS jobs report broken down to follow, it does not appear likely that the Fed will cut rates on December 10th. So here's the report. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reported there were 119,000 jobs created in September, stronger than the 50,000 jobs expected. There were negative revisions the previous 2 months. July was revised lower by 7,000 to 72,000. August was revised down by 26,000 to a negative 4,000. Still another revision to come for August, and today's release for September will likely be revised lower based on the pattern we continue to see. Looking at the last few months, June and August were negative numbers where jobs were lost. With today's figure, the average amount of jobs created over the last 5 months, 38,600. Ow! Yeah, not good. The birth-death model has been the main reason for the big revisions we have been accustomed to seeing. But come January, the Bureau of Labor Statistics announced they will change their methodology on that aspect. It will not show up until we get the January jobs report in February. But we hope it'll lead to more accurate information. Hopefully. Almost all the jobs came from healthcare and social assistance, as well as leisure and hospitality, with government adding some as well. Remember, this report was for September. So government workers that were let go and took buyouts were on the books until September and will not show up as unemployed until the October report. Unfortunately, BLS said they will not be releasing an October report and will release their business survey portion of it with the November report. And that's not coming out until the 16th of December, not the first Friday of the month as they usually do. There are two surveys within the jobs report, the business survey and the household survey. The business survey is where the headline job creation number comes from. Household survey is where the unemployment rate comes from. Household survey showed that there were 251,000 job gains, but it's a volatile figure, and because the labor force increased by 470,000, The unemployment rate increased from 4.3 to 4.4. The number of unemployed people increased by 219,000. The unemployment rate is always rounded to the next tenth, but taken out of another decimal. The actual figure was 4.44, which is not that far from being rounded to 4.5. The type of jobs did show strength. There were 73,000 full-time jobs gained, 73,000 part-time jobs lost. This doesn't jive, however, with the average work week, which was unchanged at 34.2. If all the full-time jobs were gained and part-time lost, you would expect the average work week to rise. Something that helped bonds was weaker average hourly earnings, only rising 0.2%. Year over year, they were up 3.8%. So when you look at the average hourly earnings up 3.8, inflation is up 3, you see where we got a better affordability rating than what most in the market would like you to hear. Average weekly earnings, which measures take-home pay, also rose 0.2%, also up 3.8% year over year. Bottom line, the report was mixed. Unemployment rate rose. It doesn't seem like it's going to be enough to get the Fed to cut rates in December. And because the October and November jobs reports are not going to be released until after the December 10th, the date of that next meeting, it seems that a rate cut is very unlikely. And it's mainly because the members of the FOMC.
Such an idiot. Such an idiot.
Yeah, they're it's hard to believe.
Idiot.
So they're not getting information from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, but they have their beige book. They go out. What the beige book is the 11 Federal Reserve districts go out and they talk to the business members in the areas. And what they find in those areas is what's going on in there. And are there jobs being created or jobs being lost? Are the companies hiring or are they reducing? They could find that out, and then they would know exactly what's going on in the jobs world. Now, we submit that in a lot of the surveys that we've seen and we've read about, they're saying that jobs are not plentiful and that companies are shedding jobs, not adding. Shouldn't be that tough for the Federal Reserve members to find the same data, whether they have the BLS data or not.
Such an idiot.
Yeah, I don't get it. But, as they say, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Cotality released their single-family new rent report showing rent prices fell 1.3% in September. Year-over-year rents are up 1%, which is a deceleration from 1.4% in August. Multifamily rents are down roughly 2.5% year-over-year. Bottom line, so many Fed members are fixated on inflation being above their target, but the largest component is shelter. And the latest data is showing that the biggest component should be coming down. So we see that number right there as well. Existing home sales, which measures closings on existing homes, rose 1.2% to an annualized pace of 4.1 million in October. This was slightly better than estimates, and year-over-year sales are up 1.7%. This report reflects closings in October, which means consumers were shopping and signing contracts in mostly August and some in September. That means that the drop in rates in September was not likely fully realized, and there could be a stronger report coming next month for November. The 4.1 million unit annualized pace is still weak and well below the 5 to 5.5 million units that are more normal. Speaking of the continued buildup of pent-up demand. The median home price rose 0.7% in October to $415,000 and is 2.1% higher than this time last year. There were 1.52 million units for sale at the end of October, down 0.7% from September, up 11% year over year. This is the time of year when inventory begins to fall, and we expect that to continue. Comparing the pace of sales to inventory, there's a 4.4 month supply, which is still tight because normal is 4.6 months. Homes have been staying on the market for longer, remaining for 34 days on average compared to 33 in September, 29 this time last year. 19% of homes sold above list, which was the same figure as this time last year. Cash buyers made up 29%, up from 27% last year. Investors made up 18% of transactions, down from 17% last year. First-time home buyers accounted for 32%, making it a bit of a comeback from 30% last month and 27% last year. Volatile figures, but a positive trend to see. Initial jobless claims measures individuals filing for unemployment benefits for the very first time, fell 8,000 to 220,000 last week. Clearly, the amount of firings remains muted for now, even though job cut announcements have increased significantly. Continuing claims of those continuing to receive benefits after their initial claims rose 28,000 to 1.974 million. This figure continues to remain just under 2 million, but is the highest level since 2021. The story here remains the same. Firings remain muted, but once let go, it's much harder to find a job because of less hiring. That is the Mortgage Mini Minutes. A lot of it in there today. A lot of Mortgage Minute brought to you by rsrlinks.com/mobile app, rsrlinks.com/mobile app. Fran, so you're in Northwest Arkansas. So we're not on radio there, but you can actually get us at 6 p.m. Pacific time on the video stream from KMET, ABC News and Talk, AM 1490 or FM 98.1 video, 98.1 FM. Josh, are you able to get the link to the video stream for Fran? Because that's the easiest place. Or you can go to ronsiegelradio.tv, 9 a.m. Pacific time weekdays, where we record Monday through Thursday. We're recording broadcasts right now. So appreciate you checking in with us from Northwest Arkansas. I don't remember the geography. I used to go to Arkansas quite a bit to visit our friends over at Walmart when I used to be in that import, export, and closeout business. It's a beautiful, beautiful part of the country. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate current events and the financial markets. When we come back, most experts are not worried about a recession. We'll talk about it. And lower your payment, pay off faster, save thousands. That's the Strategic Refinance Program. It does all three and more. Reach me anytime. Off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the numeral 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Confused about the home buying process? Or curious how much you really know about buying a home? Take the First Home IQ quiz to test your understanding of buying a home. Created by the nonprofit First Home IQ, this 5-minute quiz will give you a score, what you missed, and why. Take the quiz in 5 minutes at rsrlinks.com/FHIQ and find out what you need to know about buying your first home. That's rsrlinks.com/FHIQ.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Real-time real estate segment today being brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. Most experts are not worried about a recession. Home buyers are watching the economy closely, and for good reason. Buying a home is one of the biggest purchases most people ever make, and some recession talk in the media has made a lot of would-be buyers second-guess their plans. In the latest Lending Tree survey, almost 2 in 3 Americans said they think a recession is coming, and 74% of respondents say that's having an impact on their financial decisions. But here's the good news. The experts aren't nearly as concerned. Most Americans expect a recession, but most experts do not. According to an October report from the Wall Street Journal, only 1 in 3 experts surveyed say we may be headed for a recession sometime in the next 12 months. And you can see that on the chart we have there if you're watching us on ronsiegelradio.tv, any of our socials, or the ABC News and Talk AM 1490, FM 98.1 video feed. You can see most Americans expect a recession. Experts don't. 2 in 3 Americans think a recession is coming. 1 in 3 economists think a recession is coming. If the experts If the expert economists aren't super worried, should you be? We're not in a recession right now, and there's no guarantee we're heading into one. What we do have is uncertainty. And the best way to handle that is by leaning on facts, not fear. You can do that by making sure you have the information you need to make an informed decision. Tips for buying a home during periods of economic uncertainty. Here's the best advice anyone can give right now. While it's important to keep an eye on what's happening in the economy, that shouldn't necessarily overshadow your real life needs. Economic shifts come and go, but the reasons people buy homes rarely change. Danielle Hale, chief economist at Realtor.com, explains, quote, well-prepared buyers who have been waiting on the sidelines are likely motivated by personal and lifestyle needs like growing families, new jobs, or retirement. And these considerations can outweigh short-term economic uncertainties, unquote. Timing your move around real life, not the news cycle, is what matters most. But here's the key. If you're going to buy a home right now, job stability really matters. You need to feel confident in your income and know you can comfortably manage your mortgage payments, even if your situation or the economy shift. If your job is secure and you've built a cushion of savings, experts say you don't really need to delay. Just keep these tips from the economists at Redfin in mind. Set a budget and stick to it. Don't overextend. Make sure your payments are affordable and your savings can cover any surprises. This includes factoring in costs likely to rise, like home insurance and taxes. Negotiate. There are more homes for sale right now, and other buyers may pull back because of their own fears. That gives you more negotiating power when working with sellers. Use it to get the best deal possible. Be strategic about payments and mortgage rates. Talk to lenders about what payment you can afford and the rate you can qualify for today, as well as your options if rates go down later. Consider selling before you buy. If you already own a home, selling first can reduce the financial pressure and help solidify your budget for your next home. But nothing replaces the value of having a trusted team around you, especially right now, as Bankrate says, quote, buying a home during a recession can sometimes be a good idea, but only for people who are lucky enough to remain financially stable. Be sure to enlist the help of an experienced local real estate agent. Not only do agents know their markets well, they also work to get you the best deal in any given situation, including a recession. Bottom line, most Americans think a recession is coming. The experts don't. So you don't necessarily have to put your moving plans on hold. If your finances are solid, your job is stable, and you have a real need to move, you can still make that happen. What's holding you back from making your next move? Let's talk it over. Let's strategize, because you know strategy beats rate always. That is the Real-Time Real Estate segment, brought to you by rsrmoney.com, rsrmoney.com. You are listening to Ron Siegel Radio, discussing your real estate, current events, and the financial markets. When we come back, we got a little bit of a workshop for you. Lower payment, lower payoff faster, save thousands. Here's a strategic refinance program that does all of those and more. You can reach me anytime. Our off-air number, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com, facebook.com/Ron Siegel Radio. And if you miss any part of our broadcast, Ron Siegel 1 on YouTube, Ron Siegel, the number 1 on YouTube. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a few.
Ron Siegel Radio. Your home and mortgage connection.
Do you know a homeowner experiencing divorce? Do you know a real estate reference and the divorce decree could cost tens of thousands of dollars? A certified divorce mortgage planning and real estate report could save you thousands of dollars, and it's free from your local certified divorce lending professional. Reach out to Ron today. RonIsMyLender.com. Again, RonIsMyLender.com. Licensed under NMLS 217037, Equal Housing Lender.
You're listening to Ron Siegel's Home and Finance Show with local and national expert Ron Siegel. Now, here's Ron.
Welcome back to Ron Siegel Radio. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted guidance. That is my message, and I will be delivering it every day on Ron Siegel Radio or anytime at 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990. Mortgage 101 brought to you by rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora. What if I told you there's a way to lower your monthly payments, pay off your property faster, and replace your overall and reduce your overall interest costs? What if I told you there's a way to lower your monthly payments, pay off your property faster, and reduce your overall interest costs all at the same time? Sounds impossible, right? That's exactly what most homeowners think until they see the numbers. I am Ron Siegel, Certified Liability Advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. Here's what's interesting about the current market. Most homeowners are sitting in their homes thinking about refinancing, but they're asking themselves the wrong question. They're asking, what's the rate? When they should be asking, what's the strategy? Let me share a story about a client I worked with recently. They came to me with a 30-year mortgage, car loans, some credit card debt, the usual household debt mix. Their mortgage payment alone was manageable, but when they looked at their total monthly debt service, they were hemorrhaging cash every month. Now, most lenders would look at this situation and say, let's refinance your mortgage to lower rate. And that's not wrong. It's just incomplete. That's the difference between eligibility and suitability. Our strategic refinance program looks at 3 specific outcomes, and this is where things get interesting. First, we lower the monthly debt service, not just the mortgage payment, the total debt service coming out of the household budget. Think about it this way. If you're paying $2,000 on your mortgage, $800 on car loans, $400 on credit cards, that's $3,200 leaving your household every month. What if we could restructure that to $2,400? That's $800 back in your pocket every single month. That's $9,600 a year. What would that do for your family's safety and liquidity? Now, if you're dealing with consumer debt alongside your mortgage, we have a specific 2-step equity strategy that addresses this. You can learn more about that at rsrlinks.com/2step, rsrlinks.com/2step. Second, and this surprises people, we actually position you to pay off your property in less time than your current path. Wait a minute, Ron. People are saying, how does that work if I'm lowering my payment? Here's the thing. When we free up that monthly cash flow, we can strategically redirect it. Instead of that money disappearing into high-interest consumer debt, it goes toward your property equity. The math works differently when you're not bleeding money to credit cards, charging 18, 22, 30%. Third, we lower your household blended interest rate. This is the number that most people never calculate, but it's the most important to me. Your household blended interest rate is the weighted average of all your debt. If you've got a 6.5% mortgage, a 7% car loan, and credit cards at 20%, depending upon the amounts of each, your blended rate might be 9 or 10%. Our program analyzes how to reposition that debt strategically so your blended rate drops to maybe 6 or 6.5%. That's the difference between paying tens of thousands in interest versus hundreds of thousands over time. Let me give you another real example of how this works. I had a homeowner come to me with an $800,000 loan they took out 3 years ago at 6.75% interest. Their current payment, $5,188.78. They've got 23 years remaining on that loan. They'd been watching rates drop and wondered if refinancing made sense. Here's what we did. We refinanced them into a new loan of $766,000 at 6.125%. That includes the $3,500 in closing costs built right in, so nothing out of pocket. Their new payment, $4,715.66. That's a monthly savings of $473.12. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Most people would take that $473 and spend it somewhere else. But we showed them something different. If they take that $473 they're saving every month and apply it right back to the principal balance of their new loan, They actually pay off the property in 23.67 years instead of 27 years that's remaining on their old debt. Think about that. Lower payment, but the house is paid off more than 3 years sooner. That's what strategic thinking looks like. Now, remember, I'm educating you here. I'm not giving you any offer, and I'm not giving you the APR because we haven't looked at your situation to know exactly what that would look like. It's just education. What does this mean for you? It means strategy beats rate always. It's not about chasing the lowest mortgage rate if that leaves you stuck with high interest consumer debt eating away at your cash flow. It's about looking at the complete picture, your safety, your liquidity, your return. The Strategic Refinance Program is designed for homeowners who understand that a mortgage isn't just a loan, it's a financial tool. And like any tool, it works better when you use it strategically. If you want to see what your numbers actually look like and get your financial house in order before making any refinance decisions, rsrlinks.com/keysteps. That's rsrlinks.com/keysteps. We'll help you understand exactly where you stand. And remember, strategy beats rate always. I am Ron Siegel, your certified liability advisor, helping families build wealth through strategic debt management. That is Mortgage 101, brought to you by rsrlinks.com/Sora, rsrlinks.com/Sora. And as always, we ask, set that first radio preset button to come back here and join Ron Siegel Radio, where we only speak about items affecting your house and your bank account. Thanks to all of our sponsors. A big thanks to Josh and Sean for engineering us today. And of course, a special thanks to you for spending a little bit of your day with us. That's all for Ron Siegel Radio. Again, if you have any questions or to meet any of our guests, call me anytime, 800-306-1990, 800-306-1990, or ronsiegelradio.com. And remember, make a lot of money so you can help a lot of people and have a lot of fun. Have a great day. We'll talk to you next time on Ron Siegel Radio.